just a bit of information about me. I was registered with the Nottingham County Council. I had my first care home, which was registered for 3 residents, for example, and it was a home from home environment. And you can do this. You can rent a property. You don't have to necessarily buy a property. You can rent a property and just pay slightly higher rental fees than what the normal person would do to rent a property, for example, because you're going to be using it for the purposes for care home, for example. So just as proof, this is my house that I used to live in Nottingham. It was on a council estate in Strelly, Nottingham. And this was my house that I actually bought. And back then it was the right to buy house. And right opposite was this house, which I purchased. And I turned this into the first rest home where I had 3 residents. That was producing 76,000 a year with the residents in there. I then turned my own house into a care home as well. So I had both of those care homes and they were producing 156,000 a year in turnover. It was a home from home. It was a lovely environment. It was just amazing. I got registered with the Nottingham County Council back then, and it was just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Highly recommend it. So how do you build a database? Well, you go to CQC website, you click this link here, which is cqc.org.uk. And I'm just going to do a new share. So you are on CQC website here, for example. I'll put this in the chat box. And you're looking at the care home because you've got staff members who are waiting. They need work. You know, you've taken their details. They're looking for a job. You've got to act fast. You, as the provider, have got to act fast. You've got to spend every single day looking for work for your candidates that you've taken on. So I'm on CQC website here. I'm going to go to care homes because I'm going to be looking at calling care homes to get work for the candidates. I'm going to do London. You can choose your own area. I'm going to leave my radius as wide as I can, which is 25-mile radius, because I'm not the one delivering the care, for example. So I'm going to do it 25 miles. I just have to make sure that I get staff members in that area. I'm then going to click search. And what it's done is created a result of 2,074 care homes. Now I'm going to look for ones that are inadequate or requires improvement. I would approach those first because it could be an issue that they need staff members and you'll be able to help them. You can look at the temporary staffing solution, but also look at the long-term solution, because we need to think about that as well, so that we're helping organizations to have staff members. So this has created the list here. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and it will say download the results as a spreadsheet. So I'm just downloading the results. And it's come to my computer here, and I'm just going to open this up. And then I'm going to share once it's opened. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to open it up. And as you can see here, there is a list So there's a list here, and it's got the names of the care homes. You just open them up like this. As you can see what I'm doing, it's got the name, address, postcode, phone numbers for you to make the calls, for example. And then you want to color code them. So for example, I've downloaded 2074 results, for example. So what I want to look at is making 200 calls a day, for example. You want to, whatever your results are, you want to divide it into 5 so that you're calling them every day and you're rotating, okay? And go out and visit some of these homes as well. Don't just sit home, you know, making calls. Go out and visit. But you need to make sure you've got the right script, you make sure you've got all the right information so that you're able to present your company in a strong position, okay? So what I'm gonna show you here, I'm gonna highlight and I'm gonna color code. I call it the traffic light system. So I'm just gonna choose some here. That I've highlighted, I'm gonna make it yellow, and then I'm going to cut. And then I'm going to create a new tab on my spreadsheet here to download the yellow information. I'm going to rename where it says Sheets 1. I'm going to rename this Monday Yellow Zone. Then I'm going to go back. As you can see, that data that I've taken and made the yellow zone is in Monday Yellow Zone, like I showed you. I'm now going to create the next lot of phone calls that I'm doing. Like I said, you really want to create an impact, and you want to be able to at least call, you know, 200 a day so that you can get work in for your organization. So I've just highlighted that orange, and I'm just going to cut, and I'm going to create another tab. I'm going to rename this Tuesday. Orange Zone. And then I will just keep doing that until I've reached Monday to Friday. So I'll just do it again one more time. I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to call this, it's going to end up being blue. And then I'm going to cut. And I'm going to paste here. And then I'm going to rename the sheet at the bottom tab. And this will be Wednesday. Wednesday Blue Zone. So then I will then start picking up the phone. I start off with Monday first, of course. I'd start picking up the phone and start making the calls, and then have a tab for comments. So just go back to the slide. So that's how you create a database, PQC database. You can do the same for other types of organizations as well. So you're going to need a telephone script. What do you say? You need to think about what it is you're going to say. Now, I've got my YouTube channel, and I hope that you've all signed up and subscribed. Subscribe to our YouTube channel because it's got so much information in there, so much information for you to learn about, but also information that you wouldn't even have thought about as well. So how do you approach a care home? What do you say? How do you handle objections? The link is in the chat box. Let me just go to that. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll find information about how to speak to organizations, what pitch do you use, how do you, ask for the sale. All of these things I'm starting to cover marketing. I'm starting to cover sales in greater depth. in the videos that I'm doing. So you need a telephone script. You're going to have to make loads of calls. It's a fact. You can't get around that. But you can also go out and visit as well. How do you get candidates? Indeed is one place, but there's lots of job boards out there where you can get candidates from. And you can just do a search. You can be a company and you can do a search. So you can, as a company, you can search for candidates, for example. You can search CVs on here, find candidates. They do charge, but you do get some free things as well. So try and see what you can get. And then obviously you then get these packages, but you've got to recruit. You have to recruit every week. You can't just expect to pay for a free advert and expect that you're going to get lots of candidates. You've got to keep paying out, you know, minimum of £100 a week for candidates. And you want them to be high caliber, because if they're not, then you're not going to be able to get the work, because they're going to pick the best for the service users. So you need to make sure that your staff members are high quality, that they're competent, that they've got the qualifications, compliance, everything needs to be experienced, everything needs to be down packed. So here I'm just doing nurse here, for example. I just typed in nurse London and I'm going to click search. You can even do it by, let me just do the UK actually. Do it by city as well. So like I said, find CVs. Nurse London, for example, here. As you can see, there's different nurses. And you can, at the left-hand side here, just make sure you can see what I'm looking at. Yeah. On the left-hand side, you can see that the staff nurse. So you want to do the staff nurse, registered nurse, for example. And then you can look at approaching nurses, for example. You can make your radius bigger as well. So that's how you look for candidates. But it all depends where you're located according to what their pay will be. And also what the job involves. So find out what the average pay is, and then you look at matching that as well. You don't want to go too high and you don't want to go too low. The bootcamp is actually 797 as well. And the dates, like I said, we're sold out. August, it's happening this weekend, but we are sold out. The next available dates we've got is the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of September. So, like I said, the price is 797.